that only 2 to 5% of like mentally ill people actually act out violently. And what's so alarming about this is that mentally ill people are much more likely to be like victims of violent crime rather than the actual perpetrators. And so a big problem with this is that like Hollywood producers and filmmakers kind of treat autism and mental illness as like little more than a joke. And like with films like like I Am Sam and The Ringer and like even kind of Forrest Gump, like mental illnesses and like these disabilities are like kind of like they're trying to embrace autism while simultaneously making fun of it, and instead of like actually showing, you know, the true facts about it and giving insight, they're kind of playing on these like schmaltzy emotions to like pull at the heartstrings of people so they can make a profit. And we're kind of just beaten over the head with these stereotypes. And so, like, I narrowed down 3 fallacies when it comes to these the problems in film. And the first fallacy is that mental illness is violent. In several films, like the mentally ill, most notably schizophrenics, are like depicted as incredibly violent, having a sick sense of humor, being like kind of giddy and crazy. What's so wrong about this is most schizophrenics are pretty like introverted, they're quiet, they keep a lot to themselves. And when they do hurt others, it's usually themselves. And the suicide rates of schizophrenics are actually incredibly high. So that's like, it's a huge folly, it's a big fallacy, and it doesn't make any sense. And so there's that stereotype that goes around. It's seen in a lot of movies like Psycho, Suicide Squad, which I'm going to mention again. And then the second fallacy is that mental illness is sexy. Like in some films, it's become a little more popular, and it's been popular like in the past a little bit. Like mental illness has been sexualized. There's been some sort of like misunderstanding that it's something that's supposed to be, I guess, arousing or mysterious. And you have movies like Basic Instinct, Fatal Attraction, and again, Suicide Squad. And a perfect example of this actually covers the first fallacy I talked about in this fallacy right here. You have Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad. She like threatens this guard and then says, "Oh no, it was just the voices. They don't want me to do that," which is ridiculous. It doesn't make any logical sense. And then she flaunts herself out. She's wearing very revealing clothing, and that was all designed just to cater to the male demographic. And what I think is so disturbing about this personally is that there are mentally ill people who do act out compulsively in their sexuality, and it's really sad that like Hollywood, you know, Hollywood has marketed sex, but the fact that they're centering in on like a minority group and they're like profiting off of it is in poor taste, in my personal opinion. I don't know how anyone else feels about that, but I just think it's kind of sleazy, honestly. And the final fallacy, it's the big exaggerations of autism and realistic depictions of mental illness. So autism, it's a sensitive like topic, and it's not easy to handle in film, but I feel like lately and in the past, we're doing better as a society when it comes to this, but like in the past, there have been only really 2 ways to look at autism in film, and it's either like autistic people are very smart or they're very stupid. I personally have high functioning autism. As a kid, I had very moderate learning disabilities. I grew out of it. I'm not anything of a genius, and I'm not really an idiot either. I'm just kind of there, you know. I'm kind of weird, you know. But the thing is like, there is a gray area. There are very gifted autistic people, and then there are like autistic people who are a little more impaired. And so you get these interpretations, like in the movie I Am Sam, you have a character who has the mind of a 7-year-old. It doesn't make, like that makes sense, I guess, but his daughter, his biological daughter, has the mind of like a genius, and that doesn't make a lot of logical sense. So if we were to portray this more accurately in films and show, you know, the actual symptoms of autism, even pitching with having actual autistic actors, like we're doing that more with the movie Peanut Butter Falcon and Any Day Now and stuff like that. It'd be great. So these interpretations are very real. They're very common, and just educating yourself and others about the importance of it and the underrepresentation and the misrepresentation of both mental illness and autism in film is really going to help us as a society, and it's going to just help educate people, and it's going to help the film industry. And as an independent filmmaker, I want to try to show that. So thank you.